UPCG or UP Consulting Group is a student-run organization in UP Diliman envisioning to be the premier consulting organization providing consulting services to deliver social impact and foster a progressive business culture in the Philippines. BBB or the Business Building Bootcamp is an annual convention that aims to upskill and empower small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs by providing relevant knowledge and skills essential to elevating their business. Alfonso Syquia is the current president at UPCG. River Ramas is the co-head of BBB 2022. Caryl Castañeda is the co-head of BBB 2022. This is a special episode of Startup Podcast in partnership with UPCG. So hello, Alfonso, River, Caryl. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you for us and for our listeners to know more about UPCG, the new business consulting org in UPD, and of course, yung inyong flagship event, BBB or Business Building Bootcamp. So hello.
Hi, sir.
Hello,
Nice
thank you for having us.
Of course, I'm very excited really. Nice to meet you guys. So let's start with ano nga ba ang UPCG?
Alright, so I'll take this question. So UPCG or UP Consulting Group, which was founded in 2017, is an academic, service-oriented, and university-wide organization that aims to nurture an environment that is conducive to learning more about the consulting industry and equipping its members with the necessary skills and abilities to solve real-life business problems. So concurrently, we are also working towards making a positive impact in society by creating insightful and impactful contributions through the provision of high-quality consulting services that are relevant to the holistic development of our clients' businesses.
Yeah, I'm really interested no kasi UPCG is a student org but it helps its members like to be to join the consulting industry, and it also delivers social impact nga to other organizations. I also think it quite aligns sa goals ng Startup Podcast. But I want to ask lang, sino ba yung members ng UPCG? I mean, sino ba yung like pwede niyang maging members? I just want to know.
So actually po, UP Consulting Group naman is open to all students of the university. So in fact, we are proud to boast that currently we have around 125 members within the organization, and our students or members actually come from multiple colleges throughout the university. So included na here are yung mga students from College of Business Administration, UP School of Economics, School of Engineering, even those from Psych, Philo, ganon, Compet. So ayun po, daming student members.
Yeah, okay. So let's go na doon sa inyong flagship event, I would say, I think. So can you know more about the Business Building Bootcamp or BBB? So maybe can you tell us why did you UPCG start organizing this event, and maybe can you share about this event?
Okay, so before we tell you, sir, about the BBB right now, what is it all about, let me give you a super brief background to how BBB started. So actually, yung story behind it was pretty funny kasi we were a new org. At the same time, wala rin kami masyadong manpower to handle a big event. We also wanted to provide consulting services to MSMEs. Yun nga, again, we don't have enough manpower to do that. So what we did was, yung idea ng BBB came from wanting to uphold CG's mission of providing consulting or business knowledge to MSMEs. Then we met with this org project Insight that does webinars, and we got advice for the feasibility on doing mga 6 mga sessions, and then we came up with a 6 sessions BBB. So the BBB, tutulungan niya hopefully yung mga MSMEs with how to run a business, setting up a business, paano yung mga marketing strategies na patok sa mga potential consumers nila. So yun, doon nag-start actually yung BBB. So maybe Caryl can say a little bit what BBB is all about this year.
Go ahead, Caryl.
So BBB is in its second year. And so for this year, BBB aims to educate small business owners on ways to take their businesses to the next level. So we want to level up their businesses. And this year's BBB naman will be held on March 5 and 6. So that's Saturday and Sunday. And we will cover different topics. So these are ranging from business planning, digital marketing and brand positioning, finance and accounting, legal matters, and corporate social responsibility. So each segment covering these talks will consist of a 30-minute talk by the prestigious industry speakers, followed by an open forum and a workshop pertaining to the topic.
Okay, it's interesting. So can we know more lang like yung buong, so it's 2 days, right? And like gaano ba karami yung webinars or yung events or yung speakers? And sino ba, I mean, can we get a glimpse of sino rin ba yung mga speakers? I mean, just to entice our listeners, maybe our MSME listeners. So like, can you give us a clearer picture? Like, ano ba mangyayari sa BBB, and is it like purely virtual, or how does it happen really in those 2 days?
So in those 2 days, I've mentioned the following topics, and you will have 5 workshops. So 5 workshop sessions, including a talk and an activity right afterward. And of course, we will open the floor to questions that the participants may have for our speakers. And we have a variety of speakers. And in the coming days, we will release our speakers lineup. So stay tuned for that. But just to say a few, we have speakers coming from Coca-Cola, so big FMCG groups, as well as OrgDev International, which is more on the service sector.
Yeah, and how about the participants or the attendees? So sino nga ba yung mga pwedeng umattend? Sino ba yung mga possibly interested umattend? So can you just give us a picture like on the participant side?
Yeah, so we welcome anyone who has entrepreneurial spirit that they are willing to develop. So, hindi naman po kailangan na business owner kayo or may nag-iisip kayo mag-startup ng business. So, even students can join. Basically, most of our participants are students, and then when we asked them why you wanted to join BBB, basically they said similar things such as when I grow older, I want to start a business. So, yun yung medyo theme ng mga participants namin coming into this year's BBB.
I see. That's interesting. So, speaking of, since it's the second year na gaganapin ang BBB, so let's talk a bit about BBB 2021. So, like, can you give us maybe numbers or like ano ba yung mga nangyari, or maybe meron bang mga naging like success stories or very good stories, very good like impressions ng BBB 2021. So, ano ba nangyari ng BBB 2021 so that we can know more ano ba yung mangyayari this BBB 2022?
Okay, so for BBB 2021, it was actually the first time that UPCG handled such an event. So, medyo we were trying to get to know each other, trying to get to know the feel of the event, kung tama ba talagang ginagawa namin. But yeah, we stayed true to our promise that we wanted to help MSMEs. So we saw the need of business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs for skills improvement. Kaya kami nag-startup nga ng BBB. And for those naman, we saw na a major number of participants last year, BBB 2021, were actually business owners. So, nag-range from like 30 to 50 years old, yung mga nag-sign up din. Although, we had a lot of room for improvement pa from last year. But yeah, last year, we had speakers like RJ Ledesma, if you're familiar with him. Yeah.
Of course.
So, he was one, I think he talked about business situation or planning at the very beginning of the event. So, right from the start pa lang ng BBB 2021, solid na agad yung speaker namin. And hopefully this year, lahat ng speaker talagang it increases every session talaga namin.
Yeah, solid. That's very solid. Actually, I always listen to RJ Ledesma's podcast. Sorry if nag-plug ako ng ibang podcast. But anyway, I really like his podcast and I really look up to him as an entrepreneur. So anyway, I'm also curious, like si UPCG, ano ba yung iba niyang ginagawang like activities bukod sa BBB? So maybe Alfonso, can you share with us, ano ba yung ibang mission or ano ba yung ibang activities or events na ginagawa ni UPCG?
Yeah, so in addition to BBB, actually, we've also focused on the development of our student consultants. So these range from our in-house development initiatives wherein we teach them, the basics about consulting, different frameworks, ganon. Wherein we are able to prepare them properly. Kasi another part of our initiatives is also working hand in hand with yung mga businesses nga, as we mentioned beforehand. So these are our case engagements. And ayun, so basically just preparing them so that when we go into a partnership with a partner company, ayun, we have individuals who are ready and fit to properly consult them. And siguro in addition to that na lang, we have several other events in the pipeline. Siguro a little bit of a teaser na lang here for your podcast. But ayun, we are currently planning a consulting career fair.
Wow.
So ayun, something to look forward to. Basically, it's an educational networking event where students who are interested in pursuing a career in consulting will get to meet individuals. Ayun lang naman po for us.
And River mentioned earlier pala yung like improvement. So he said nga na continuously naman nag-i-improve si BBB like from last year and maybe si UPCG. So maybe Alfonso and River and Caryl, like maybe can you share lang like how did the org change and how do you envision BBB pa to change pa in the future, to improve pa in the future? Like ano ba nakikita niyong long-term BBB, like BBB 2030 maybe. So do you have some ideas lang there, Caryl, River? I mean, kayo yung co-head now and maybe in the future malamang hindi na kayo yung co-head. Pero like ano ba yung nakikita ng org na parang ano? What do you think of that?
Okay, sige. Maybe I can go first and then Caryl after. So, when Caryl and I applied to be co-heads of this project, yung BBB, we were kind of thinking na ano ba nangyari ng BBB 2021? Because that's the most simple thing to do. Look back and then tingnan natin kung ano yung pwede i-improve. So, sabi namin, ang dami pala namin pwede i-cover na ground from last year. Kasi, syempre, first time, then baka yung second time, mas maging bongga pa in other terms. So, kami ni Caryl, we ideated na parang this year's BBB should not just be another webinar participants can go into. Parang, syempre, easier na nga tayo magpunta sa mga webinar ngayon. Why not make something out of it na super important at relevant sa magiging participants natin? So, ang wish namin and hope namin ni Caryl is that the topics na ipipresent ng mga speakers, the workshops, are really relevant sa mga participants natin. And then, makikita nila yung parang moment na yun na may isip nila na, yung mga learnings namin from BBB 2022 are actually important sa mga business. So, yun yung pinaka-goal namin ni Caryl for this year. Siguro moving forward, Caryl can answer a little more, expound pa.
To add to Rivers, it really just takes like one try, and from the past BBB, so BBB 2021, we now know how else we could improve, how else we could, like, from here we could blast off na, develop BBB even more. And siguro what we really want to see BBB as in the future is a conference that's very adaptable. Yeah, yun nga sinabi ni River, very relevant to the times, and times are changing. Now we're in a pandemic. Who knows what's gonna happen pa in the future? Though we still want to be grounded on like the fundamental skills and values for businesses. And another important point siguro that we want to share with you is that we look to seeing BBB to be very sustainable. So who could say that a participant for BBB 2022 could be a possible speaker for BBB 2025? No, right? So really enable our participants, help them grow, help them in their journey. Hopefully we see them soon again.
Yeah. That's a very good answer. I really like it. Gusto ko yung parang yung participants ngayon is the mentors maybe in the future. I really think that's also how maybe like in society or in business in general, like yung mga may experience, tutulungan yung mga less experienced, and it goes on and on and on. Kasabay nga nung continuous improvement. Yeah, I really like it. I really like overall like the idea, everything. So let's take this few minutes. So do you have any other promotions, or maybe do you have anything to say? So maybe Alfonso, River, and then Caryl. So let's take this last few minutes to just share and promote anything about UPCG, about BBB. Yeah. Maybe let's start with Alfonso.
Yes, okay. So in addition to supporting our BBB initiative, we just like to tell everyone that UPCG is currently offering free consulting services to MSMEs who wish to level up their businesses. So for parties who are interested, you may send an email to UP Diliman Consulting Group at gmail.com. So siguro I'll send you na lang po the actual email para you can include it.
Yeah, and they can see it in the description and in the show notes pag lumabas sa YouTube and sa Spotify and sa Apple Podcast. So, River, so can you take this time to promote more about BBB, follow on Facebook, share all the details?
Okay, so before I go into BBB, I would just like to add another promotion for UPCG. We're also accepting applicants for the second semester. So our tagline for this academic year would be "Great minds think different." So if you're one of those great minds who think different, please join UPCG. We offer a broad range of opportunities that would link you to your career in consulting. So for BBB, you could like and follow our Facebook page, which is just search Business Building Bootcamp. So that would be our official Facebook moving forward. Caryl, what are the other names?
All right. So for BBB, so signups are still open. So go check out our page. The link for the signups is there. If not, you could use our QR code that we have also included in our publication materials. And in the meantime, before we release our accepted attendees list, we have a series of infographics regarding the state of business right now. So we have one for legal matters, CSR, brand positioning, I believe, right? So we could take a bite from one of those before we actually offer all of these amazing talks from all of our amazing speakers. We hope to see you there.
Yeah, so I hope my students, the student listeners of this podcast, the MSME owners listening in this podcast, aspiring entrepreneurs, startup founders, maybe they can get something out of the very great speakers at BBB and sa event mismo ng BBB. So, thank you for sharing, Alfonso, River, Caryl. Thank you for spending some time to talk about UPCG and BBB dito sa Startup Podcast. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having us
follow
here.
BBB, follow Business Building Bootcamp on Facebook, and we'll update you. We'll update our listeners sa Facebook page din ng Startup Podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you a small business owner or someone who has a real interest in building your own brand? Then deep dive into the UP Consulting Group's Business Building Bootcamp, the annual convention and training camp for entrepreneurial spirits. Don't miss the chance to discover how you can unlock your business potential this March 5 and 6.